What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hurricane Watch here on the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. I'm your host, Christian Proscia, and it's been a couple days since been a couple weeks since we've had one of these. Obviously, most Tuesday nights I've been working photo gigs, makeup football games. We got high school basketball being played at FAU last week, but we are back and we are better than ever right before and Miami versus Syracuse here this upcoming week. College football season has flown by, ladies and gentlemen, and feels like blink. We just blinked and we were beating the crap out of the University of Florida. Open my eyes again, and end of season awards are coming out. So honestly, we're going to jump straight into things because I am outraged, ladies and gentlemen. It is Canes versus the world as usual, per usual. We know it's coming. They do not want to see us win. They not like us. They don't want to see us win. Um, Earlier this afternoon, I don't know if anybody's really been on social media. If you're a Canes fan and you've been on social media since around noonish, you're probably not the happiest camper because came out with a bunch of finalists for the overwhelming majority of the postseason awards. Heisman finalists haven't come out yet, stuff like that. But we got the narrowed down list from the semifinalists to the finalists of the Maxwell Award, which is the National Player of the Year, the Davey O'Brien National Quarterback Award, which is Best Quarterback, Doak Walker Award for the Best Running Back in college football, the Blitnikoff, which is the Best Receiver in college football, the Outland Trophy for the Best Interior Offensive Lineman, Chuck Benedict Award, which is the Defensive Player of the Year, Jim Thorpe Award for Best DB, Groza Place Kicker Award for the Best Kicker, and the Ray Guy Punter Award for Punter of the Year. So Miami was properly represented in the overwhelming consensus of a lot of these awards, including, Maxwell Award, Davey O'Brien, Blitnikoff, and the Lou Groza Award, just to name a couple. From there, the list got whittled down from about 6 guys to 3 finalists, and this is where the stupidity of college football fans, voters, whoever it is, this is where it gets whittled down. We're going to start by talking about the Maxwell Award. Cam Ward was a semifinalist for National Player of the Year. I don't know if you guys know this, but Cam Ward's doing all right. He's pretty good at football, to say the least. Not really trying to ride too high on the guy, but yeah, Cam Ward, he's pretty all right at football. With that being said, this award got whittled down from 6 to 3, and the 3 finalists are Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty, and Dylan Gabriel. First 2 guys, I do not have any problems with whatsoever. Travis Hunter has played like the best player in football all season. I stand by that statement. Travis Hunter has looked absolutely electric every time he has stepped on the field. Ashton Jeanty, I have no problem with Ashton Jeanty being a finalist. Ashton Jeanty, best running back in the country right now, over 2,000 yards, could still possibly break a Barry Sanders record. Ashton Jeanty, no problems with him. But Dylan Gabriel, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if anybody has broken down those stats or really looked at the stats, so I'm going to do it myself. We're going to play a little bit of a which guy would you rather have? Player number 1, both these hypotheticals are quarterbacks. Quarterback number 1 has 3,774 yards on the year, 34 touchdowns, 7 picks, an 87.2 QBR, and has led his team to a 10-1 record. Or would you rather have quarterback 2 with just over 3,000 yards, 3,066 yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, an 84.1 QBR, but he's the quarterback of the lone undefeated team left in college football? for being a Most Valuable Player award. Please tell me why Cam Ward, who has over 700 more yards, that is averaging about two better games. He is 2 games worth of better yardage than Dylan Gabriel, and 12 more touchdowns to just one extra interception. Please tell me in what mind somebody realistically said Dylan Gabriel's had a better, more impactful year on college football than Cam Ward. I don't know about you, but when is the last time somebody has watched Oregon play football other than the Ohio State game? Because me personally, I have not watched a single Oregon football game all year. Oregon is a West Coast team. A lot of their games you are not able to get, or you are not able or wanting to stay up late. There was a little thing called Pac-12 After Dark. Guess what? That still happens, but it's just called Big Ten After Dark, I believe. So having all of that being said, like Cam Ward not being a finalist over Dylan Gabriel, that doesn't make sense to me because the most recent Heisman odds that came out at the end of last week's games, the consensus has one Travis Hunter as the runaway favorite for the Heisman. I am still fine with this. As an unbiased media person, yes, I love Miami to the day I die, and I love FAU to the day I die. Travis Hunter is the clear-cut favorite for the Heisman. Ashton Genty is 2. And then the gap between Cam Ward and Dylan Gabriel is almost 4 times the odds. Plus 1,400 versus plus 6,000. Dylan Gabriel is not coming away with the postseason award, ladies and gentlemen. Cam Ward still has a little bit of potential to make that one happen. The only leg that Dylan Gabriel has to stand on, in my opinion, is it's because he's the quarterback for Oregon. By the way, feel free to drop comments, takes, be mad, talk about it amongst yourselves in the comments. Y'all know that I love interacting with you guys. But yeah, once again, Cam Ward is miles ahead of Dylan Gabriel. It is closer to 1,000-yard difference than it is like between the two passing yards, just over 700 yards. 12 more touchdowns. Cam Ward is sitting second in college football in yards, first in college football in touchdowns, and first in college football in QBR. And Dylan Gabriel, the only thing he has over Cam Ward is his completion percentage. Congratulations, you're just throwing a bunch of checkdowns. I'm not impressed. I haven't been impressed with Oregon realistically all year. Like, that's my honest opinion, is I don't think Oregon is as good as people say they are. And that's just from a little bit of a film breakdown, but I legitimately don't understand this move. Taking things over to the Blitnikoff Award. Because, once again, nation's top wide receiver. Surely the wide receiver one on the nation's top offense in points, yards, third down conversions, you name it. Reliability, Xavier Restrepo needs to be included in the top receivers in the country. When I'm thinking of the best draft-eligible guys or guys that I realistically would want on my NFL football team, if I was taking one wide receiver out of college football this year, Xavier Restrepo is in the first handful of people that I would name. And honestly, only one of the other people that I would name was a finalist for this. Finalists include Travis Hunter, Arizona's Teratoa McMillan, and San Jose State's Nick Nash. I just want to, once again, talk about Travis Hunter. I believe Travis Hunter honestly should run away with every award that he is a finalist for. Travis Hunter, especially for the Blitnikoff, Travis Hunter is far in between the best wide receiver on a pass-heavy offense in a crowded receiver room with a lot of NFL talent on that offense, including himself, Jimmy Horn, LeJontay Wester. They got another guy as well. Colorado has a deep receiver room the same way that Miami has a deep receiver room. Miami is one of the few teams with 4 receivers well over 400, 500 yards. Xavier Restrepo with 979 yards. Isaiah Horton and Jacoby George sitting in the 600s. Sam Brown just over 500. And then Elijah Arroyo just over 350 yards on the year. So, once again, Travis Hunter, you're safe from my lashings, my verbal lashings. I believe Travis Hunter should be there. Teratoa McMillan is another dog of college football. I believe, in my opinion, heart of hearts, Teratoa McMillan is a top 3 wide receiver in college football this year. 78 catches, 1,200, almost 1,300 yards, and 7 scores. But McMillan is the only receiver in his offense over 300 yards. It is just force feed the ball to McMillan, force feed the ball to McMillan. And yes, that works, but I don't believe it really makes him and his offense stand out the way that, okay, Xavier Restrepo has less yards, but the target share is so much greater. And then for Nick Nash, I'm sorry. You want to look me in the eyes. Somebody wants to possibly look me in the eyes and argue for why a receiver from San Jose State is better than the receiver from Miami, the receiver from Alabama, or the receiver from Ohio State. I'm not even just arguing for Restrepo anymore, but you're trying to tell me that this dude is better than Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams. I'm not even bringing up the fact that Ryan Williams is 17 years old. I hate that argument. I'm not even bringing up the fact that they're both true freshmen. They are better football players. Yes, they're in the more prestigious of receiving rooms and in the more prestigious of offense. Because, yeah, guess what? Even though Alabama kind of blows this year, I would still take Jalen Milroe as my quarterback over whoever the hell San Jose State has. I'm sorry, but sorry-ass San Jose State realistically should not have a representative. I am all for the G5s and the Mountain West getting the love that they deserve because, once again, I will rave about how Ashton Genty is amazing. Miami Dolphins, please do not take him, though. We do not need another running back. But you're really trying to tell me that a receiver from San Jose State has more of a national impact. A dude whose name I learned 6 hours ago has more of a impact than Xavier Restrepo, Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith, who will actually be the best players in college football if they're not considered already. Xavier Restrepo has one hell of a story, going from a 3-star recruit, 5'9", wide receiver, practically having nothing coming out of high school, being able to stay home, go to Miami, work his way up the depth chart into being the most reliable wide receiver in college football. Everybody saw the Cal game. Everybody saw the USF game, Virginia Tech. Those games, Xavier Restrepo was making catches of where it was so obvious that Xavier Restrepo was the reason that Miami was able to come back against Cal and get that 25-point comeback against Cal. He was able to – he caught a ball on his back. He was laying down on his back and still somehow made the completion. Mind you, on 4th and medium while trailing. That's the guy that should be handed any freaking award that he wants. Because what a play. So that is my honest stance on that. He has set program records. He has beaten the statistical records of NFL Hall of Famers. He has Michael Irvin, Andre Johnson, whatever other Miami wide receivers from the past raving about him, saying this kid is better than I ever was. That's the guy that I want as my Biletnikoff. So I believe that X was easily one of the biggest snubs of the weekend. But I'm right about my kicker, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, San Jose State, they haven't played anybody. They've beaten who they're supposed to beat. They've lost to who they're supposed to lose to. Strength of schedule wise, they are just inside the top 90 hardest strength of schedules. You're barely a top 100 team as far as strength of schedule. Guess what? There's 134 teams in Division I FBS college football. you're in the bottom half of just beating the hell out of terrible teams. Congratulations, you beat the piss out of Wyoming. I am not impressed. Gets murdered by Boise State. Like, I do not think San Jose State should have a representative, especially offensively. Miami, sixth hardest strength of schedule per ESPN as far as who they beat. So, like I said, I'm ready to fight people over a kicker, ladies and gentlemen. Lou Groza Award, once again, Andy Borregales was a finalist or a semifinalist. He was moving on. I thought, you know what? The kicker for the nation's top offense, this kid's leg is falling off after every game. He's kicking 5 to 6 extra points. He's kicking 2 field goals a day, and most of them are usually deep yarders. He's not a finalist for the Groza Award. So first thing I want to ask is, what is the criteria for the nation's best kicker for the guy who has kicked 52 of 52 extra points and he's kicked 15 of 16 field goals? Does Andy need to kick more field goals? Is the reason that Andy wasn't a finalist for the Groza Award because Miami's offense was too good? He was only limited to kicking a bunch of extra points? That doesn't make sense, especially when one of the finalists for the Lou Groza Award is FSU's Ryan Fitzgerald. I am so sorry to Ryan Fitzgerald because right now you are about to catch a stray, my guy. And this is not about you. FSU's offense can't even get into this kid's field goal range half of the time. FSU's offense is statistically still one of the worst offenses in college football this year. He's kicked 12 field goals and 15 extra points on the year. 5 of which extra points were kicked on Saturday. So yay, FSU had an amazing offensive masterclass against an FCS school. What the hell were you guys legitimately thinking having this dude over Borregales, who is kicked, I got to do a little bit of mental math, I believe 3-4 times as many extra points as you and a couple more field goals? It doesn't make sense. The only award that they got right for the special teams, special plays, special moments awards was having FSU's punter for the Ray Guy Award. I agree with that because that dude's leg was legitimately falling off, having to play for DJU, Brock Glenn, Luke Cromahook before last week. I'm very high on Luke Cromahook. I've said it multiple times, but Brock Glenn, DJU, yeah, that dude's leg was falling off. That dude's leg's getting amputated. But still, they snubbed another guy because how is my boy Logan Lupo, who was FAU's MVP all year, he was the reason FAU was in a bunch of games, was the damn punter. I understand not wanting to watch FAU football, but how is Logan Lupo not a finalist for the Ray Guy Award? So, once again, that's a snub in itself. But at least Cam Ward is coming away with a finalist for the Davey O'Brien Best Quarterback Award. That makes sense. It's him, Shedeur, and Dylan Gabriel. Once again, if Dylan Gabriel comes away with any hardware, this thing is stupid. Realistically speaking, I do believe Cam Ward is going to be a Heisman finalist. Because if he's somehow not a Heisman finalist, who's the other guy? They bring 4 dudes to New York, and there has been a debate all year on the resume for number 4. Is it Dylan Gabriel? Is it Army's Bryson Daly? There was talk about Jackson Dart before he threw 3 interceptions in the span of 2 minutes. So yeah, Jackson Dart, you're cooked, buddy. Lane Kiffin, please start Austin Simmons, because if you want to actually have a real talented quarterback behind under center, especially in, like, how does a quarterback not really succeed in a Lane Kiffin offense that gets so dumbed down? Like, I don't understand that. But so who's the 4th guy? If Cam Ward isn't a finalist in New York, because you got to figure Travis and Genty. Those are the ones that everybody's been talking about since week one. And I agree. Those two, book your flights to New York. You should have booked it 3 weeks ago. Travis and Ashton, that makes sense. But then having Cam Ward possibly, for whatever reason, people love to not have Miami in a lot of things. They love to conveniently stop talking when Miami's good, and then they'll bring up Dylan Gabriel, who once again has almost 1,000 yards less and 12 touchdowns less. That doesn't make sense. I'm actually surprised that the quarterback that is leading the nation in yards, Kyle McCord, isn't coming away with anything. Kyle McCord is a good football player. He is a young, good football player. He got ran out of town in Ohio State for the exact same player. Like, you might as well have just kept Kyle McCord. Will Howard isn't good either. Kyle McCord is a baller. He was one of those guys that needed to take a step down in team production and elevate and air it out in an offense that makes sense for him. I understand that, and he has succeeded at one of the highest levels at Syracuse. I am nervous for the Syracuse game, ladies and gentlemen, because we're now segueing into a little bit of analysis on this game. It is win and you're in. Win, and we go to the ACC championship game. The lights are so bright in that orange dome, that terrible dome. Those lights are so bright. Syracuse is trying to F up our season. It is between Miami and Clemson for the final spot in the ACC title game. SMU clinched last weekend. Congratulations to the Mustangs, a team that I am very high on since the first week of college football. I said SMU was going to be a dark horse ACC contender. I stand on what I say. I said it, and I'm right. Usually. It's because SMU was one of the top teams in the American. I think that this was a very weak year for the ACC. I wasn't high on Clemson. I was not high on Florida State. I said it was going to be between Miami, Louisville, or SMU for the ACC title game. I was pretty damn on point for the most part. But Kyle McCord and the Syracuse Orange coming in against us, just under 4,000 yards on the year, 26 touchdowns, 12 picks isn't the best, but McCord is having an outstanding year. I forgot FAU former backup quarterback Michael Johnson was on Syracuse. That's actually a pretty funny one that I just pulled up on my scouting report. Then in the backfield, LaQuint Allen with 819 yards, 12 touchdowns on the year. He's a dog. I like watching him play. Very balanced offense between Gaddison II, Meeks, and Pena, who are all well over 700 yards. Gaddison, 800 yards. Meeks, just over 800 yards. 810, 801, and then Pena with 743. 5 touchdowns plus for each of them. Very diverse receiver room, like Miami, being able to spread the ball. That's going to be a matchup that I'm looking forward to because, as everybody knows, Miami's defense didn't look terrible last week. Outside of the opening drive on Saturday for Wake Forest, where Micah Mays touchdown. That's my boy, Micah Mays. Known the kid since he was in 7th grade. Guess what? That was the loudest I've cheered all year. If anybody has a problem with it, it's like watching your little brother score. So once again, congratulations to Micah. Second career touchdown. Anyway, very diverse offense out at Syracuse, being able to air it out, run the ball all at an efficient level, in and around the same yard target share for the guys. Literally, this is going to be anybody's game. It is damn near the exact same offensive explosion versus two very solid defenses as well. I think I'm still going to say that Miami is going to out-talent them because I'm taking my guys over everybody. But I do strongly believe that this is going to be a close game. A lot of us are going to be sitting on the edge of our seats, biting our nails at 3 p.m. until presumably about 7 p.m. So I am extremely confident going into this game for Miami, but I can also see where Syracuse is going to come out and try to end things. Little sign of respect that I did like from first-year Orange head coach Fran Brown came out and said, "The world is a better place when Miami is winning football games." I completely agree. A lot of other people, especially outside of the South Florida bubble, disagree. They don't want to see us win. Remember that. I'm we saw it a couple weeks ago. We lose to Georgia Tech. We're the number 4 team in the country. We lose to Georgia Tech. You see a team like Alabama, they lose 3 times, and people are still talking about how Alabama can make it to the 12-team playoff. Miami loses to Georgia Tech, goes from number 4 to number 12 on the AP poll. Every excuse people can give to dock Miami, they're going to do it, which is why Miami needs to come out, punch Syracuse in the mouth, kill them dead. That's the honest opinion, honest truth. Kill them dead, and then go into the ACC title game at Panther Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, and kill SMU dead. And then we get a first round bye, and we're going to the playoff. If not, if we lose to Syracuse, get ready to learn Pop-Tarts Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. That's the honest truth. Get ready to just book your trips to Orlando right now. We'll be competing in one of the Orlando Bowl games, and that's the honest truth. And I wouldn't even go to said games because guess what? All of our seniors that we know and love are probably not going to be playing in that game. Compete for the national championship. That's the end of story. If we make the ACC title game and we possibly drop that one to SMU, I do believe Miami's resume can still get us in at an at-large bid. I'm talking a little bit of basketball terms, but it still stands. I still believe Miami could have the resume for an at-large bid. That's my honest truth. And listen, I hope that the ACC is a 2-bid league. I hope SMU gets the opportunity to play in the 12-team playoff after we beat them. I really do hope that for SMU. I think SMU is a very good football team. There's a couple kids that I grew up with that are on that team. I wish SMU nothing but success. Very classy fan base from the top down, obviously having a lot of dealings with them. I wish SMU nothing but the best. But when we see each other in the ACC title game, it's on site. And that's just the honest truth. That's how I stand on it, and that's how I hope that everybody else in the fan base stands on it. Once again, I am extremely, extremely disappointed in what has come to be a very good year, but our guys aren't getting the accolades and the recognition that they deserve. I stand by that. They're going to keep sleeping on us until they're done with Miami. They move on to the next chapter. And then as we're at the NFL Combine, Xavier Restrepo is going to absolutely blow up, and everybody's going to be talking about how his draft stock has been improving or stuff like that. I'm just using X as an example. I believe Xavier Restrepo is quietly one of the best superstars in college football. One of the most underrated superstars in college football, because once again, I'm taking Xavier Restrepo over any receiver in college football. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Not saying that those guys don't work hard, but I am confident that Xavier Restrepo outworks that person, especially after what he's had to go through his life in order to get to this moment. So I do stand on that wholeheartedly. We're going to flip things over. We're not going to do a break. We started a little bit late. Want to make sure that Robbie gets his hour in, so we're going to kind of speed run the rest of it. We're going to flip over to basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that beautiful Wasco Center. Don't really have a lot to talk about as far as basketball outside of what is going on. Going out to the Charleston Classic, that is not how I thought things were going to go. 0-3 in in 3 games of Charleston Classic, 0-3. Miami, Miami and FAU, I do believe, had a little bit of below expectation games. Um, I I was really excited for the possibility of the Miami versus FAU head-to-head matchup. I thought that Miami could have beaten Drake. FAU obviously beat Oklahoma State. But going into the tournament, I was legitimately considering booking a flight up to Charleston to cover what would have been FAU versus Miami. Very happy I didn't because Miami lost, unfortunately. Miami lost in first round to Drake. I'm going to talk about Drake in a minute. And FAU beat Oklahoma State, would go on to lose to Drake. But as far as Miami is concerned, I dislike the hole that they put themselves in early. When they played against Oklahoma State, they were at an almost 20-point I believe they were at an 11-point deficit in the first 3 minutes of the game. Before Miami had even knocked down a basket, it was, I believe, 11-0. That is not winning basketball. The Drake game, I understand dropping after further review, after a little bit of reflection, because Drake is a very good basketball team this year. Drake is going to be a team that we are going to talk about in March. I firmly believe that Drake is going to be a very, very good basketball team. I really hope that the Bulldogs make a run. I wish them nothing but success. Supposedly great class acts out at Drake. Robbie was out in Charleston for the past couple days, had a lot to say about Drake basketball. But yeah, Miami basketball, I was not loving what I was seeing, and that's the honest truth. Failure to rebound was a big issue. That was something that both me and Trenton Breeze from Canes Insight, and Luke Chaney from Canes 247, we were talking about is you can't get offensive boards. You're not getting second chance boards, and then you're not shooting. I don't know if anybody's seen the meme where it's like the Lambo in the Section 8 housing trailer park. It's a meme where it's like something really good around something really bad. Right now, that looks like it's Nigel Pack versus the rest of this team. Nigel Pack is the clear-cut one on this team, and there is no two. I'm very disappointed with how they've looked over the past couple games. The realest test of this year is going to be December 3rd, next Saturday, next Tuesday, next Tuesday. They get a week off. Next Tuesday, Arkansas at home. Arkansas is a very good basketball team. Arkansas is a better team than Miami is right now. And Arkansas doesn't even look like they're playing their best basketball right now. Coach Calipari and his squad are going to come into the Wasco Center, and it's what's going to happen. Is Miami going to get into a hole early and then have to fight? Because you're not coming back against Arkansas the way that they tried to do against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State almost had the chance to do something really funny, and that was piss double-digit point leads away to both Florida teams in the same tournament. I thought it was going to happen. And I had the "you want to see me do it again" SpongeBob meme queued up on my phone. I was ready to go. It was going to go viral. I already know because all the college basketball analysts were enjoying some great basketball this week, so they would have saw that and probably got a little bit of a chuckle. Also, if you don't like SpongeBob, you're a weirdo. But yeah, I believe that a lot of the team is playing 1-on-5 basketball, not 5-on-5 basketball. That's something that needs to get recalibrated over the next couple days, especially for Miami. I believe I don't like how soft this team is playing. Outside of Nigel Pack, the lid is shut on the basket for everybody else. Nigel Pack, absolute sniper, should be playing in the league. Everybody else, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why Miami's bigs are non-existent. They're non-existent the entirety of the game. I don't know where Matthew Cleveland is. Matthew Cleveland is not playing good basketball right now. And then Jaleel Bethea is having a serious learning curve. He's not having the top 7 recruit in the country coming into college basketball same way that Cooper Flagg was coming in to college basketball moment. He's struggling a little bit, and it feels like he's trying so hard not to make mistakes that it's happening. And that was something that was brought up on the broadcast during the Oklahoma State game. So I believe Jaleel needs a little bit more development. I believe Jaleel could very easily be one of the best guys to come out of this program in a very long time. That's just the level of talent that Jaleel possesses. He has the ability to jump out of a gym. He is efficient as a scorer on all three levels. Can he come out and show that on the collegiate level against a legitimate D1 basketball team early on? That remains to be seen. I'm very intrigued by what's going to happen. Last thing I do want to talk about before I kick things over to the Stella Report, I'm going to be jumping on that as well, is we got some recruiting updates, ladies and gentlemen. National Signing Day is 10 days away for football. We're going to flip it back to Hard Rock for this. National Signing Day is 10 days away. I want to talk about our recruiting class, and I want to talk about our good friends up in Gainesville. Miami is looking to flip a couple more prospects. I believe biggest dart on the dartboard is Vero Beach linebacker TJ Alford. Trying to get him to stay home from Ohio State. TJ Alford is, in my opinion, priority number one as far as recruiting of guys that we're trying to flip in this wonderful flipness season. Alford, absolute dog. Had the opportunity to watch him for the first time ever play against Palm Beach Central on Friday. Kid is a game wrecker. He was dancing in the backfield more times than running backs were. He was just blowing through the offensive line and was just putting quarterbacks on their butts. TJ Alford is an NFL player playing high school football. That is what we can be getting in Miami, and I firmly believe that. Flip TJ Alford is priority number one. Second guy that we want to talk about is Jabari Brady, who wide receiver out of Monarch, just released his top 10 earlier this afternoon. Per 24/7 recruiting, 2026 wide receiver Jabari Brady is between the following 10 schools after narrowing his recruiting process down from 40. Florida State, Florida, Ole Miss, Missouri, LSU, Oregon, Alabama, Ohio State, TAMU, and Miami. Jabari Brady would be a huge get in Miami's 26 class. My bold prediction is that he reclasses to 2025. I believe that that's going to be something that's announced on National Signing Day or right before National Signing Day. We could be seeing a reclassification and early enrollment for Jabari Brady. That I could see that very well happening. I think a lot of wide receivers in the greater South Florida area are going to be doing that. First big one was Malachi Toney. I thought that going into the year. But then there's a couple other guys I still think could realistically early enroll with their collegiate programs. But those are basically the biggest points I wanted to talk about on today's episode of the Hurricane Watch. I'm going to end things early. I got a show prep with Robbie. When we come back next week, we're going to be hopefully talking about the ACC title game next Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. That is priority number one, get to the ACC title game. If so, I will be there. I've already booked things to North Carolina. So, guys, please don't let me down. Please don't make me have to just enjoy a nice weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina. But I hope everybody has a happy and safe Thanksgiving with their families. Remember that there's bigger reasons to this season outside of turkey, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, even though it's very good. Spend time with your peoples. Love each other. Enjoy some terrible Dallas Cowboys football. But I will see everybody on Tuesday. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend.